I want to once again remind everyone what a benevolent, generous, altruistic person I am.
Oh, just in case we forgot.
I don't know if everyone remembered, but I did donate $6,500 to the Palestinian medical assistance hosted by Hassan. And so just don't want anyone to forget, you know.
Dearborn fucking legend right here.
Thanks, bro. We need a new video of this.
Yeah.
So I have to talk about something. Some of y'all might not like it, but so I'm going to do it fast. But I think it's the allegation. Okay, stop. I think it's important to say, so that's why I want to do this. It's about something we were talking about. Oh my God. This is funny, Cam. This is so cursed. Love, you pick the road. Which one you want to walk down? The choice is pretty clear to me.
Yeah, damn.
Dude, him with the meat scarf is so fucked up.
That is crazy.
God, the meat scarf is
I mean,
he's sick, man.
I will say, as of now, if I were to be a vegetarian or a meatian, I have to pick the meat because I cannot sustain a life on just veggies at the moment.
Well, I don't think anybody can, for the record. They
Dan
eat
can?
lots of other stuff. No, he doesn't just eat vegetables. He eats
I don't just eat vegetables, yeah.
Oh, what do you
But
eat?
I mean, I'm not vegan. I'm just vegetarian.
Oh, right,
There are
right.
vegans.
You eat eggs.
Right. Yeah, I get
protein based.
Yeah, I mixed it up.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So maybe I could pick that.
So if you're thank you so much. If you're forced to walk one of these paths, it would be of Meat Kings.
Man, I wish there wasn't a face on there because I would pick Dan just because he's there.
Oh well, thank you, man.
Because I can't go with him. But if it was
Liver?
just meat or salad, I'd have to pick meat. If that makes sense.
All right. So anyway,
Anyway,
yesterday we had See You Next Tuesday, which we did for the members. It was a fun time. Thank you for being there. One thing is that the news was breaking. I'm sure everybody's heard about this by now. This huge story that's a hospital in Gaza. The story was that the IDF airstriked the hospital, killing at least 500. And it was so, I was in so much despair from that story. I think everyone was just like, wow, this is horrible. And I was just praying, like, please, I don't want this to be true, because the ramifications for this would be terrifying. I mean, just in the middle of the night in Lebanon and other countries, they were rioting / protesting outside U.S. and Israeli embassies. And the risk of this thing getting escalated into a larger war is very real and very, very, very scary. And this is the type of thing that could escalate it. So I was arguing with some people in chat, and I think the biggest takeaway from this that everyone needs to bear in mind is to please listen to me more.
Before you get more into this, I'm sorry, real quick. My cat is actually stuck in a tree, so I have to go. I'll be right back, though.
Your cat is stuck in a tree?
Yeah, I gotta go. I'll be right back. But continue.
Oh, he's going to rescue his cat, you guys.
What a hero.
Wow.
You sure it's not a small child on the freeway?
I don't believe so.
Okay, yeah, he's gone. He's out of here. I think he just did a Shaquille O'Neal. Delete me from this conversation, which again I understand, because let's be real, we've talked about this. No matter what your opinion is, there's somebody out there that's gonna fucking hate your guts for thinking it. And I think that's part of what created this situation that was so volatile, because at first, yesterday afternoon, the story broke, and the immediate reaction from the media at large, frankly, was pretty incredible looking back. They all ran this headline: IDF airstrikes hospital, killing 500. That is horrible. But so I understand why people are getting worked up, and that's just horrible. And the thing, I guess, is that the IDF started to deny it. They said that it was the result of a Palestinian jihadists of Palestine. So it wasn't even Hamas that did it, although it was another terrorist group in Gaza. And so there was a lot of speculating. There was a lot of fiery opinions on both sides. And, my takeaway when I was doing the live was, let's just wait and see before we, are trying to rile up a massive escalation of war. Because that's what was on the line. This was a big deal. So, just remember, guys, it costs nothing to wait. It's free to wait. You don't have to draw a conclusion immediately. That's, you know what I mean? Like, that's really a noble thing. Just wait a little bit, And so as more time went on, more evidence started coming out that supported the IDF statement that they did not airstrike it, including some really compelling videos of I have the videos. I don't know if you guys want to watch them. They are pretty interesting because I was just glued to the internet yesterday, just trying to figure out like what the fuck happened here, because it was scary. And if Israel really did this, I mean, that would just be hell to pay for that. So the first thing that happened, and this broke yesterday afternoon, these guys geo-confirmed, who I understand is extremely reputable. These guys actually do something really interesting. It's managed by volunteers, these people who are like obsessed with maps and coordinates and stuff. And they've been doing a ton of work in Ukraine, Ukraine, to track where rockets are being fired from, because there's a lot of disinformation there about like sometimes Ukraine is shooting mortars or rockets and it's hitting their own people and they're blaming Russia and vice versa. And so these guys don't appear to have any kind of political slant. And so when this came out, it was quite a compelling thread. They said a missile launched by Palestinian groups exploded midair. One of the pieces fell onto the hospital's yard. You got to kind of give it up to these guys. That's it. That's, from what I understand now, exactly what happened. And these guys put this tweet out at 2 p.m. yesterday when everybody, including the mainstream media, was saying Israel did this. So these guys really put their neck out there in a crazy way. And that's exactly what happened, we're understanding. They even have like the exact coordinates. These guys are really something. The really interesting, so here you go, full recording. The rocket is intercepted in the air, breaks apart shrapnel. There was one really interesting wrinkle, is that Al Jazeera was doing a live broadcast, and just incidentally, the rocket was caught behind them on the live, and you can see it exactly. But these are all confirmed videos too. There was a whole lot of misinformation about, it's old footage, and which is true. There was an old clip that was going around, but I want to emphasize that these are all real clips. These are all confirmed. So you can see a rocket went up. The theory is that it had a malfunction, split apart. The warhead falls to the ground as well as like the rocket head. And it fell right there, which is just a tragic accident. And I'm relieved to say that it was looking like right now almost certainly not the IDF. And I think everybody should be relieved to know that. And keeping the plight of the Palestinians at the forefront of our minds about what they're going through and the amount of unimaginable death, thousands of death that is happening there as a result of this IDF military operation. But the reason the truth is important, again, is because this risks a massive escalation. And I think we can all agree that is not something any of us want to happen. So I think it's important that everybody just take a minute and we must have cooler heads prevail. Yesterday when I was doing the live, I was like, let's just wait and see. I was looking over the evidence and I was like, this looks like IDF. I have to say, like, I don't understand how this was a rocket. I don't understand it. But I said, let's just wait and see as information comes out. And even that alone is offensive to a lot of people in the audience, people who are in the chat. And I just, again, the plight, bearing in mind what's actually happening there. The truth is important about how this stuff happens. And it doesn't make Israel innocent and everything else, right? But it does matter. It does matter to understand what actually happened. When I saw video clips of like people rioting in Lebanon outside the embassies, I was like, this is fucking horrible. This is going to be war. There was like shots of tons of people driving out to the U.S. embassy just in the middle of the night. This was like 2:30 a.m. They were all driving out there, and it looked like, and people were understandably angry. And I can't even blame them for even thinking that, because simply the mainstream media was reporting that headline, like uncritically, which is pretty incredible. Yeah, here's the clip I saw. Lebanese protesters are headed to the U.S. embassy after the bombing of Gaza's hospital. So, I saw this and I was like, oh, fuck, dude, they're going to want to go to war. And again, totally understandable, the reaction based on the headlines that were going out. This guy's thread, these guys are really incredible. Their work process is actually just really incredible to look at. Here, they look at the pictures, line them up with coordinates to try to triangulate exactly where the explosion hit, making exactly where the rocket fell. And these guys really are incredible. Going down, I want to show you guys the Al Jazeera one. Is this the one here, or is this a different one? You see this from a few different angles. And when I saw this, I was like, well, shit, maybe Israel didn't do this. Yeah. The Al Jazeera one was the one that really convinced me, like, damn, this I don't think this was it. And then the other confusing thing was that people reporting 500 plus. I started even to see people saying upwards to 1,000 people died, which again is really horrible and scary. But then when the morning came around, and pictures started to emerge from the scene. Hold on. Yeah, they're just talking about how they located the right thing. These guys are in the weeds doing all this crazy shit. Here's a surveillance footage from a large barrage of rockets. I don't know if this one shows that one that we're talking about. Where is this Al Jazeera one? Jesus Christ. So far down here. But this is important. The next day, pictures started to emerge. First of all, this looks horrible. But what actually happened is that the rocket, the warhead, the explosion, it happened in the parking lot. The hospital, in fact, wasn't even damaged, as far as I'm aware. As far as I understand it, the hospital is not damaged. So I do think what happened was that there was people that definitely were tragically killed who were in the parking lot. But again, this number of 500 just, it is. I guess it is possible if there was. I guess it's possible. It seems very unlikely. And another thing to bear in mind when you're taking in all this media is that the people that reported this missile attack and the deaths is Hamas. Now, I'm not saying everything Hamas says is, well, let me put it this way. If I hear any news out of Hamas or Israel, I'm not taking either one of those at face value. I feel like you need to wait for some international reputable reporting to confirm, because they both have an extremely vested interest in, propagandizing, I don't know if I said that right, people to their cause. And that's just a fact. But I do, so bear in mind that 500 number is reported from Hamas. And it usually is when you read a newspaper and it says Palestinian officials said Hamas they're the officials of Gaza or Gazan officials, whatever. So that's just something to bear in mind there. And the reason I say this again is because I want to. Where the fuck is that Al Jazeera one? Damn. Oh, this was a really weird one. The IDF put this out. I'll just play it for you and then we can talk about it. But as people were starting to piece the puzzle together, the IDF put out this alleged recording of Hamas operatives. It's translated, so if you're listening, essentially they're just talking about that there was an accident, that the missile hit the hospital, and they just seem like, oh fuck.
بقول لك أول مرة بنشوف الصاروخ زي هيك والشظايا هذه فبقول لك تبع الجهاد الصواريخ الجهاد الإسلامي هاي. إيه؟ فهم بقولوا تعاون الجهاد الإسلامي. إنه من عنا هذا؟ شكله من عنا مين اللي بيقول هيك؟ بيحكوا إنه الشظايا تبعت الصاروخ إنه الشظايا محلية مش زي شظايا إيش بتقول؟ سبحان الله من عندنا ما لقاش غيرين بجرسلي. عاد هذول متلاقين من المقدرة الورا دي بثلاث محطين.
And then they go on to say that they shot the rocket from the cemetery right behind the hospital. And that pretty much, I believe, has been confirmed as well, which is, again, something to bear in mind here. Now, this came from IDF, so this could very well not be, it's far from super credible, but it is interesting, especially in the context of everything that we've now learned. But again, like I said, it's coming from Israel, so it's not enough credibility there to say one way or the other. Let me see. I'm trying to find this Al Jazeera video. Maybe someone can find it, because I don't know. I thought it was in this thread. Here is. Let me see. But anyway, listen, again, what is happening in Gaza is disgusting, and it needs to stop immediately. And I put my money where my mouth is, okay? I donated $6,500 to the Gazan fund to help them, to help the civilians there. But I do think it's very important for everybody who's following this story to keep their heads cool, to try your best. It's difficult in these times to stay, level-headed and rational and just thoughtful. It doesn't help anyone to jump to conclusions like this. And by the way, I'll say this media frenzy of misreporting what happened, from popular media all the way down to, influencers, lefties, everyone was just full on. This happened. Dude, there couldn't be a better gift to the IDF now. You don't understand how people are going to. Now IDF has this plausible deniability on anything. It's like, they'll say, oh, it wasn't us. And they were right after they got blamed by the whole media. And now it's like they have this whole thing to fall back on and say, yeah, it's like the best gift ever to Israel, the hysterical coverage of this. And I don't mean hysterical because it was horrible, right? Hysteria is not a nice word. The passion was warranted. I want to make that clear. The passion was warranted.
Just out of curiosity, did anyone ever follow up with why those 2 tweets were deleted? In regards, I think Israel put one out, and then another one was from, I believe he's head of something. I forget the title he has.
I don't know. That was like the 2 main evidence I saw people saying as proof that it was IDF.
Mm-hmm.
Well, which, let's be real, it's not that. That's pretty thin, you guys. One of them was like an IDF spokesperson who put out a video saying that, like, yeah, it was Israel that bombed the hospital, and then he erased it pretty soon after. He's just some random fucking guy who. No, he's not a random guy. He represents the government, but he erased it. He was wrong. He's just one guy. He was wrong. He said he saw the media headlines and just assumed that it was Israel. And then the other one that was erased was, I don't remember what it was.
It was an analysis with the video.
Right. They erased it. I don't know why they erased that one.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, at this point, it's been confirmed by the Pentagon, by media sources, that this was the malfunction of a rocket attack by the Islamic jihadists of Palestine. But I saw a lot of people bringing those up, and I agree it's weird, but it's hardly proof. You know what I mean? In the face of all of the mounting evidence that we've now come to see, that basically it really all but shows that this was a tragic accident. Here's a shot from the air in the morning of. There was lots of it's a shame. Some of the media you see, and again, I don't blame you, because there was a video of something hitting a building, and a huge explosion. I don't know where that was from, or if it was from this event. But what happened was, here you can see, I think people started to really come around to Israel's, didn't do it is this morning when they surveyed the blast area. Here's the parking lot. This is where the warhead hit. And you can see the results is basically there was maybe a dozen cars that caught on fire there, but the damage was it was just in the parking lot. And then the other thing that I think is kind of explanatory, if I can pull this up, is there was another one that said that showed the crater, and there's a lot of it shows the crater. There's pretty much no crater at all. It's like a little dent in the ground, which is not at all consistent with an Israeli airstrike. So I'm trying to find that crater too. Did anyone find the Al Jazeera one? I don't know. I can't find that. Can anyone look for that? Thanks. Oh, here's the impact crater here. This is what I was trying to say. So this is the impact crater. And like I'm not a military analyst, so clearly I have no fucking idea. But from what I'm hearing is that an Israeli missile is going to weigh tons, especially one that's going to blow up a hospital and kill 500 people, and is going to leave like a fairly significant crater in the ground. And that to me looks like not that big of a crater. Thank you so much. Here I got. Oh, these were the ones that were deleted. Okay, so this was. So this is the guy I was talking about. He's part of some. I honestly don't know who he is. He tweeted out, Israeli Air Force struck a Hamas terrorist base inside of a hospital in Gaza. Multiple number of terrorists are dead. It's heartbreaking that Hamas launches rockets from hospitals. First of all, this guy's take is fucking insane. Like what he said is happening is he saw the headlines and then immediately rushed to Twitter to say like there's a bunch of terrorists that are dead. He was talking about 500 people at the time, presumably, that died in a hospital. So like this tweet is fucking barbarous on its own. But this guy is not representative of the entire Israeli intelligence apparatus. There's just some guy who was wrong. You know what I mean? This one was Israel tweeted out, breaking news from the analysis of the operational system of the IDF, an enemy rocket barrage was carried out towards Israel, according to intelligence. So they put out this post and they erased it. I don't know why they erased it, but I'll tell you this. There's tons of verified footage of it happening. I don't know what was in this video or why they erased it, but we don't need these videos to know what happened because there's tons of videos from tons of different perspectives, including the one I'm trying to find you guys, the live broadcast that was just incidentally found. You can't find it? It was Al Jazeera was doing a live report and you could just see the rocket in the back. It was just totally random, a random encounter. And it lines up perfectly with the time. It lines up perfectly with the location. This guy here who deleted his tweet, he's a leading Israeli Jewish influencer and human rights activist in the fight against anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism, and the BDS movement. So I don't even know if he is working as an official spokesman. He is? Oh, he is a digital aide to the Israeli prime minister. So he's a digital aide. Again, insane and incriminating if we didn't have more evidence. This is clearly just one fucking monstrous freak. You know what I mean? This one, again, here, did you find it, the Al Jazeera one?
I believe this is it. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah. Thank you. So this is the one I saw where I was like, oh, fuck. Because you can clearly see what's happening. You clearly know the date, the time, that it wasn't altered or, manipulated in any way. So here is the report. Actually, I'm just going to skip to the end because it's kind of long. And it happens towards the back. But you can see there's a couple of missiles launched. And then right back here is when... See, I don't even think this is the one. Just to show that there was rockets being launched at the time. Go ahead. Go ahead now. Any minute. Thanks, X. X. What happened? Maybe try to refresh the page. Drum roll, please.
لكن دون أن يعلن المنظومة الدفاعية وسقطت في داخل المدينة لكن أيضا دون أن يبلغ عن إصابات في صفوف الإسرائيليين ونحن نشير إلى أن هذه المدينة هي الأكثر تعرضا.
So here's one rocket. I don't believe this is the one. It comes after this.
المدينة كانت تحدث قبل أيام عن أكثر من 1000 صاروخ طال هذه المدينة وأكثر.
Yeah, this is it. So it's separated. There was a malfunction where the warhead got separated from the rocket body. And again, it's important to bear in mind, this does happen. It's approximated that 10% of the rockets shot from Gaza malfunction. And they frankly, sadly, they do end up coming down and hitting public spaces in Gaza. I mean, that's just only natural. So this stuff does happen.
سقط بالفعل في داخلها وأحدث دمارا في البنى التحتية وفي السيارات.
And there it is. So again, this is all happening live on Al Jazeera, which is such a crazy coincidence. But one more time, you see the rocket, and this has all been geolocated, right? These guys, they've crunched the location, the time, Everything adds up.
هي الأكثر
Here goes the
تعرضاً
rocket.
للصواريخ منذ بداية هذه الحرب.
It's not intercepted, it
المدينة
malfunctions.
كانت تحدث قبل أيام عن أكثر من 1000 صاروخ طال هذه المدينة،
Separates,
وأكثر من 170 صاروخا
falls to the
سقط
ground.
بالفعل في داخلها وأحدث دمارا في البنى التحتية وفي
And
السيارات
there it is.
وفي المباني العامة والخاصة.
Another thing that had me skeptical was like, I just don't know how a rocket had such a big explosion. It doesn't make sense to me. Well, one is that it actually wasn't as big as people thought, based on the scene from the parking lot. And two, this was one of their like super long range rockets, and it was just launched. So presumably it had a ton of fuel in it that was not used. And so I think that's part of what contributed to the size of the fire plume that comes up from there. So, yeah. Again, I don't know if you trust American media or if you trust the president, but Biden said that the Pentagon independently confirmed separately that it was a malfunctioned rocket from the Palestinian jihadist group or whatever they're called. So, basically my point is just that this stuff does matter. That's it. That's all I want people to say, because the amount of people that just were immediately and vehement and like I'm wrong, and also I'm wrong for saying let's wait. All I said was like let's just wait a little bit. And that's fucked up apparently to some people. Because again, to me, this is great news, as sad as that's to say, because people did die. But it's great news that the IDF, first of all, didn't kill 500 people, probably. Didn't blow up a hospital. The hospital's still there. And that they didn't intentionally bomb a fucking hospital. And I'm not saying they didn't do it, but what was being reported was horrific and could have possibly brought other people into the war. So I do think this is important, and I do think people, especially in these high tensions, when everybody, is rushing to social media and wanting to fucking get the scoop on the story, that we have to be more level-headed. We have to be, and just clear minds must prevail. Weakest analysis, I'm sorry to tell you, but what's your analysis? That 2 tweets were erased? That's your proof? Your proof is that 2 tweets were erased. I mean, these are the same people that look at the death scene of a murdered child and say that the picture's fake because there's a splatter of pink on it. So, listen. I see Jade chat. I appreciate that, you guys. There's no leftovers on Thursday. I just wanted to touch on this because I think it's important. Now, again, Israel has bombed hospitals. And I'll even say this. We looked into this report that apparently something hit that hospital even a few days ago, that very hospital, and injured people, So, like, I totally understand why people drew this conclusion. I understand it. I understand why. So on one hand, I'm not even blaming people necessarily. I am blaming the mainstream media. It was crazy that they ran with this headline that wasn't true. But I don't blame influencers and stuff that rushed out to cover it, because, like I said, there was like a history of the IDF hitting this hospital, right? And combined with like some of the footage and stuff I saw, to me, my first thought was this was 1,000% the IDF for sure. But turns out that almost certainly at this point it was a failed rocket launch. And that to me is worth saying, and it's worth knowing the truth. And this isn't to absolve Israel of any of the war crimes that they've done, of which there is a lot. But I don't know if you guys were online. The atmosphere was fucking crazy online. Like after it was initially reported about the 500 people in the hospital being blown up, like The atmosphere was really, it was scary. I was scared. What media did that? Literally everyone. It was like the BBC, the Washington Post, Reuters. It was quite a significant amount of people. Ethan, this is extremely painful to hear. Well, I'm sorry that it's painful to you that the IDF didn't kill a bunch of people in that hospital. My condolences to you. You're spreading propaganda, Ethan. You're a fucking moron. Dude, you're stuck. You're in a propaganda hole. Like literally, you fell to Hamas propaganda. You're spreading the propaganda of a terrorist organization because two tweets were erased. There's like almost no evidence at this point at all that points to the IDF. None. So I understand that you're convinced that this happened. I understand that you think I'm like a monster or something. But to me, the truth matters. And I don't want this war to escalate. And I'm scared. I'm scared for the people in Gaza, and I'm scared for the people in Israel. And this war, and I don't want this war. Embarrassing yourself? I mean, listen. Just go read a little tiny bit. You know what I mean? I don't know what to tell you. It's all there. It's all there. True, you know. And there seems to be a lot of people that are angry that Israel didn't blow up the hospital and kill 500 civilians. They're angry that it didn't happen. And I express my deepest condolences to them that it didn't happen like that. So I'm very sorry. But that being said, obviously my heart is always with the Gazans, the Palestinians, and I'm donating and I'm rooting and I'm supporting them. But the truth ultimately is important. If you think I'm doing propaganda, if you think I'm lying, that's fine. But I must tell you, all the evidence is out there. If you want to look and read it and get into it now and look at the footage from the day after, from this morning, which is essentially what really turned people when they saw the scene from this morning, then if you don't want to look at that and you just want to say it was IDF because there was 2 erased tweets, then I'm afraid that you actually might be succumbing to Hamas propaganda. Again, the deaths, the damage, it was all reported by Hamas. I don't think Hamas or IDF is a reliable reporter of the news. And if you think otherwise on either side, then you're being pretty obtuse. I'm sorry, some of y'all don't want me to talk about this. I think it's important. It's important to me. So there it is. That's all I have to say. I genuinely, I think it's important to say. That's it. Thank you. Ethan is not lying. He's just playing too fast and loose with Twitter propaganda. Again, listen, I encourage you to just go read. Like, go outside your bubble of people that are in this perpetual state of and justified, right? Because there are horrible things happening. But I encourage you, go read this thread from GeoConfirmed, you know? Go look at the pictures and go look at the media. I mean, even the media is reporting it now. Like I saw on BBC, BBC was saying that it was likely now a rocket strike. So if you think I'm wrong, I don't know what to tell you, but the truth is important. And regardless of what you think, if I'm right or wrong, let's say we don't know. My point is even this. Let's all let cooler minds prevail. It's way too important right now to be making claims that we're not sure of. So let's say, Ethan, you're lying, you don't know. Okay, but there's enough reasonable doubt at this point to say maybe it was a malfunctioned rocket. So if we can agree on that at least, then we can all agree, like, let's just wait and find out. Wait for more bipartisan reporting and investigation and analysis, which is coming out. And So then we agree. And that was my point from the beginning. Let's just be patient. It costs nothing to wait. And these things matter. They are important. Thank you. There's also, and I'll just tell you how else this stuff matters. I mean, a synagogue in Germany was attacked yesterday. And it was because of this hospital bombing story. Berlin synagogue attacked and anti-Semitic incidents rise. It's because, and this shit matters. It does matter. I mean, it matters to me. It should matter to you, I think. The truth should matter. But anyway, my heart and mind is always with the Palestinian people, the people of Gaza, and always working for the government to stop. Thanks. That's it.